are extremely important people carriers, and I can't stress this enough because they get us to work, they take us to birthday parties, etc, etc. It can go on. But Volkswagen have been the pioneer of this, starting with the Beetle, getting people moving on from the war times onto the City Golf, where as things modernized, we needed a place to go in a more safer space, which was why the City Golf was created. But in the 21st century, a more important car has come along, which is this, the VW T-Cross. And I think this is Volkswagen's most important car for the 21st century. And here's why. So why is this an important car? Well, Volkswagen have sold an incredible 1,200 units of this car behind me. And that means it should be a car that you should pay attention to. 1,200 cars per month, even though it's been on sale for a couple of months, means that a day, 36 of these are sold, and 4 are sold every hour. And that's for good reason, because I'm going to tell you why this is an incredible car. So what exactly is the T-Cross? Well, if you look at the entire Volkswagen range, you have the Touareg, which is the big 4x4. Then you have a smaller version, which is the Tiguan. Now, where this slots in is a smaller version of the Tiguan, which you have the T-Cross. You can kind of think of it as a baby Polo that's been raised and given a little bit of the SUV treatment. And you're right, because that's exactly what the car is. So the T-Cross is in an incredibly competitive environment. The cars that do compete with it is the Ford EcoSport, the Toyota CHR, and the Mazda CX-3. But if you ask me, this is probably the best looking car in that entire segment, because what you get is modern VW looks, including their new VW logo, as well as a car that is a complete package. But I'm going to show you more about that as we take a look on the inside. The inside of the T-Cross is typical modern VW, so you get all the creature comforts that you would expect. But for a car of this price, you actually get a lot more than you expect. With the base price of 330,000 Rand, you get a whole bunch of car for your money. You get Apple CarPlay, you get a multifunction steering wheel, and with this spec, you can also get PDC self-park, as well as the 7-speed DSG auto. On top of that, you also get the R-Line kit, and you also get an exterior package, which means on a car like this, you don't have to skimp out on the options without breaking the bank. This one, as you see, is the Comfort line. It comes with xenon lights and the R-Line kit on it, which makes it look pretty decent, especially considering that this car as a total is under 400,000 Rand. So another important thing of this car is what powers it. Now, I would normally show you this in one fluid motion, and the cameraman would agree that this would be cool. However, the bonnet catch on this car is not on the right hand side, it's on the left. So I have to elegantly reach over, pull it without hurting any muscles in my back, then show you what's powering it. So 1 second. Just gotta pull it. That's probably a thing that's my least favorite thing about the T-Cross, but nevertheless, let me show you what's under the hood. So while we're here, there's no 2-pull catch and then it opens. You have to pull it once. Find the clip somewhere. There we go. Without looking like too much of a fool. Then pull it up, and then old school, because it has no gas sprockets, find the clip, and then voila, you can impress your friends and family with these. So you just bought the T-Cross and now you want to impress your friends with what's under the hood. Well, once you pop the hood, you can tell them that this is a 1-litre 3-cylinder motor, which doesn't sound like much by today's standards, but the car has an incredible 85 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters of torque, which means that it's good for a top speed of 193 kilometers an hour, and it'll do 100 in just about 10 seconds. But further from that, with good driving and the 7-speed DSG that it does come with, you can achieve 4.9 liters, which is actually very achievable in this car because it's also pretty light. Alright, so you've seen what the car looks like, you know what powers it, but most important thing is space. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's a baby SUV, so what exactly are you getting in terms of space? Well, I'm going to show you. So it is a 5-door, and by 5-door, I mean 4 doors, and the boot counts as 5, in case you were wondering. But with my driving position in the front, I'm about 178 centimeters tall. You can get in pretty easily, and you'll have ample legroom. So if you are a family or someone who has a lot of friends that likes to go somewhere, you'll have plenty of space and plenty of legroom. But at the same time, you also have height at your side. So if you are taller than 6 foot, you might struggle. But then again, I don't think anyone who's that tall would buy this car because you'd want something a little bit bigger. If so, and you're watching this and you are 6 feet tall, my apologies. And if you do buy one, then I owe you something. So besides the ample legroom, you're not going to be shortchanged on what you can have in the back. I mean, let's be honest, this isn't exactly a high-spec or high-tiered car, but the rear passengers will find to their admiration that there are 2 USB fast charging points. Even though this is the comfort line and you can get this car in Highline, which will come with leather seats and virtual cockpit and so on, this is the spec you'd want. You'd still have passengers that can charge their phone, so if you do have a night out or a long distance trip, you'll never be without power or a power bank instead of going to the front and asking someone to charge it. So quite a nifty feature for quite an impressive car. So the T-Cross isn't shy on features. Just because it is one of the cheapest cars in the Volkswagen range doesn't mean you can shy on stuff that you can get. Another thing I'm impressed about with this car is that it can come with PDC and reverse camera. So if you're shy to park a car, this car will definitely help you out. So the T-Cross isn't shy on looks. From the rear, it's actually quite a good looking car. In fact, one of my favorite features are these half-cut LED lights that you see for the brake lights. But another important feature that I know you guys are going to ask about is boot space. It's a small SUV. Does it have big enough space? Well, I'm going to answer that question. It does. With our camera gear, there's still enough space for another suitcase. So if you were to take a long trip overseas to the airport, you can fit your international luggage. If you even were doing a domestic and you need an overnight carry bag or one of the smaller suitcases, it can easily fit here. So impressive, but at the same time, these seats can also fold. So if you do need to carry and transport stuff, T-Cross has got you covered, literally. The T-Cross is an absolutely fantastic car. In fact, in my time as a motoring journalist for the past 5 or so years, I've never been as impressed with a car than I am today. It's got everything that you need. It's priced well, starting at 330,000 Rand. The one that you see here is the comfort line. It's got the R-Line kit, xenon lights, reverse camera, PDC, Apple CarPlay, and pretty much a lot of features that you'd find in a premium car, all for an affordable price. And that's what I like about this car. It's actually something that I would walk into a VW shop and go buy. But I know I've shown you what it's like on the outside. It's time now to jump in and show you guys just what it's like to drive the car. So, what's the T-Cross like to drive? Well, the car has blown me away in every single way. From its starting point price of 330,000 Rand to the kind of features that you get with the R-Line kit that makes it look a lot more better than its competition. You also get xenon lights and you also get creature comforts and features that are actually usable. You know, when I review and test cars, you always have this sense of, oh, well, it's a cheap car. It's obviously not going to have the features that one would expect. But this pretty much has everything. And in fact, this is the car that you should buy. This is the comfort line. Now, the comfort line comes with pretty much everything that you need except for leather seats, virtual cockpit that basically change the instrument display that you see in front of you to like this digital dash, and a couple of other small tweaky things that you could add on. But as is, this is just over 350,000 Rand. I have everything that I need. I've got the 85 kilowatt turbocharged engine, which uses a whisper of fuel. I've got touchscreen on the front. It's got Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth. It's got a very, very good audio system paired to a 7-speed DSG gearbox, which means that gearbox changes are quick and it uses minimal fuel. The multifunction steering wheel is very usable. It's not complicated, and the new steering design of VW is absolutely fantastic. You can change the instrument cluster display so you can see what kind of fuel you're using. You've got volume up, you've got cruise control. You have everything that you need, all for a car that basically costs in the 300,000 Rand. In fact, you can say that this car costs less than 400,000 Rand with every single feature that you would need as a daily driver. The T-Cross is an absolutely impressive car from start to finish, and the numbers speak for themselves. The car has sold 1,200 units already, and it's only been out for just over 2 months. 1,200 units. That means that 36 are sold a day, or for an hour of this car. It's no wonder that it sells well, because I mean, it has everything that you need from a modern car without the compromise. I have comfortable seats, I've got a touchscreen display, I've got a multifunction steering wheel, I've got Apple CarPlay, I have xenon lights, I have looks that don't make the car look cheap. It's absolutely fantastic. Why would you want any other car? Which brings me to my next point. So what kind of driver is going to buy this car? Well, obviously someone who's looking at being a little bit more financially responsible. And these are the people I'm going to be talking to, because as value for money goes, this car scores 10 out of 10 for everything that it has and comes with. You also get service plan and warranty, so you can be assured that the car will be looked after with VW, because with most cheap cars, you don't actually get something like that. It's something that's a bought option, but with this, it comes with it. So someone who's going to buy this car is going to be looking at upgrading a little bit of their lifestyle. So if you have a first car, you have a Polo, you've got the cheap little runaround, but you don't want to spend too much on a car per month, because let's be honest, most of the people will actually finance it, and very rare will buy it cash. This is a car that is definitely up their alley, because it has all the space, it has all the comforts, but it's still a well-made German car, and that's a point I do have to stress. As much as we do give German cars a hard time, when they make absolute bargains like this, the build quality is insane. You can even tell by closing the door, touching the switches, turning the knobs, everything that you can think of that's like tangible in the car. You do it yourself, it's absolutely fantastic, and the build quality does show. Are there any complaints about this car? Well, the only thing I did mention earlier was that the bonnet catch is on the left-hand side, which is quite annoying, because you'd try look for it there, as most people would. But small niggles? Not many. I mean, the boot could be a little bit bigger. Sometimes the engine does lag, because you need to get the revs up just to get it up to speed. But these are small things. These are things that can be overlooked. I have everything that I need, and again, for the price point, you can't actually complain about this car. For what you're paying, sure, because if you go and spend your physical money like everybody else would, and you go buy an appliance, you go buy electronics or something that's quite, expensive, you can complain about, oh, it doesn't have this and that. But this is something that you can actually say to yourself, well, for the money, you can't actually complain, because there isn't anything else better out there. And that's why the T-Cross outshines everything for me. So complaints, minimal, absolutely minimal. This car is absolutely fantastic. So my final thoughts on the VW T-Cross. It's ticked every single box. It's got absolutely astounding build quality. The engine performance is fantastic, but the price, that's the number one thing I will always tell people about this car. The price is absolutely superb. There is no car in the market that can match it right now. And sure, the rivals might be better looking, or they might have this feature that this car doesn't. It's absolutely fine, because in terms of a complete package, this car absolutely does it. It has everything you need and nothing more. And if you're looking for the perfect daily car, this would be it. The T-Cross is where I would absolutely send it. And actually, as I said before, this is a car I would go spend my money on, because you don't need to drive fast. You don't need to have every single feature. You don't need to have the best of the best. If you're looking for something that's premium and affordable, but within a modern day car that does everything for you and nothing less, this is the car that you would get. The T-Cross is probably my favorite car of 2019 ever. From all the cars that I've driven in my entire career as a motoring journalist, this has been by far the most impressive car. For the price that you pay, for the creature comforts, it's absolutely outstanding. Which is why I would say, if you have the money, go and buy one. In fact, it has my money. If I had the funds, I would definitely go to a VW dealership and get one myself. And that's why this has been the most impressive car I've ever tested. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you supporting this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe on this channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.